Hello, dear participants. I would like to present you the paper with topic Increasing Web Design Effectiveness based on Backendless Architecture by Konstantin Morozov, Ievgen Sidenko, Galyna Kondratenko, and Yuriy Kondratenko from Petro Mohyla Black Sea National University. Nowadays, the problem of proper and effective design is becoming more important than the problem of effective development or support of any web system. Finding high-quality personnel for developer positions is not a big problem. Using various patterns, libraries, and frameworks also helps development. In this work, the popular approaches used in web design and development will be reviewed. Their main advantages and disadvantages will be singled out, as well as cases of use will be described. Based on them, with the study of the development of ideas for designing systems, an own approach will be developed, devoid of most of the shortcomings listed in the paper. Within the terms of the work, the following types of systems engineering approaches will be reviewed: monolithic architecture, multi-layer architecture, microservice architecture, serverless architecture, and backend as a service architecture. So let's consider the first. Monolithic architecture is an approach built on the client-server architectural model and based on the idea of the indivisibility of service software. Um, Next, layered architecture will be reviewed. It is a development of the idea of monolithic architecture, except that there are so-called layers, subsystems that exist on the principle of separation of responsibilities and usually fulfill three main roles: data layer, business layer, and presentation layer. Next comes the microservice architecture. It is the next round in the evolution of multi-layering, combining service-oriented and partitioning the system into subsystems. The result of the development of microservice is serverless architecture. Its essence is that instead of services, even more atomic entities appear, the so-called lambda functions that communicate with each other, usually through simple HTTP requests, and don't require a separate database or separate machines for hosting them. Last in this paper will be Backend as a service technology or architecture. Its sense is that the company provides a ready-made server solution for use. The architecture called Backendless or DADO, direct approach to data obtaining, is based, as you might guess from the name, based on the complete removal of the server side as an intermediary between the client and the data or other data sources. Summarizing the advantages of this approach over those considered early are as following: accelerate development, reducing the cost of the project. You can see this advantage on the next slides. Increased productivity, simplification of development and support. But there are also drawbacks to the approach. Also, the need for a separate client subsystem and putting business logic on the client side. On the next slide, you will see the comparative table of each of the considered architecture with Backendless. This table shows qualitative comparisons of the architecture by criteria, since these estimates are difficult to quantify because much depends on the project. For example, it is quite difficult to quantify architectures by criteria speed of development because projects can be different in scale, number of developers, their level, and so on and so on. Therefore, the estimates in this table are generalized. On this slide, you can see comparative analysis of each of the considered architectures with Backendless. You can see that, for example, Backendless architecture, according to the easy to development criterion, is high, and also according to criteria development price is low. On this slide, you can see the reducing the cost of the project, and you can see two part, left side and right side. The left side is the cost without of the project without backendless architecture, and the total amount is total cost is $9,552 per month, and the cost of the project with backendless architecture is $5,255 per month. And you can see that that using backendless architecture is more cheaper than projects without backendless architecture. So, conclusions. As a result, a new approach to the development and design of web systems was developed, which called the backendless architecture, or the DADO approach, which says about the complete rejection of the intermediate steps in working with data, which speeds up the application, makes it easy and less confusing to overall, and also allows developers to manipulate the database directly without using specialized query languages. Thank you very much for your attention.